Tuition on Year. Tuition on Year.
Compulsory English book. And this book is for science students, commerce students, management students.
दूर शिक्षा रेडियो कार्यक्रम ट्युसन अन एयर मनको आवाज युनिक एफएम 94.2 मेगाहर्ज र तानसेन नगरपालिकाको सहकार्यमा
कोरोना संक्रमण रोकथामका लागि जारी लकडाउनको अवस्थालाई मध्यनजर गरी उत्पादन गरिएको दूर शिक्षा रेडियो कार्यक्रम ट्युसन अन एयर।
नमस्कार, तानसेन नगरपालिकाको सहयोग र युनिक एफएम 94.2 मेगाहर्जको उत्पादन तथा प्रसारणमा सुरु भएको दूर शिक्षा कार्यक्रम ट्युसन अन एयर कार्यक्रममा कक्षा 12 को कम्पल्सरी इङ्ग्लिस विषय अध्यापन तथा सहजीकरणका लागि हिजो जस्तै आज पनि उपस्थित भएको छु। म कमलराज बस्याल। हिजोको क्लासमा हामी एउटा इम्पोर्टेन्ट टपिक सिम अथवा जनरल इम्प्रेसन सिमको बारेमा पढेका थियौँ। त्यसपछि अब आजको क्लास म भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई मिनिङ इन्टु वर्ड्सको पेज नम्बर 16 मा हेर्नको लागि अनुरोध गर्दछु। देयर इज अ टपिक पुलिस डिस्क्रिप्सन। इट इज अबाउट राइटिङ अ प्याराग्राफ or short description about any people, like your friend, about yourself, about your teacher, or any topic can be given and the students should write or they should describe about any given topic or any given person. So as you see in the book, in 2.7, there is a description of a man whom the police wish to interview in connection with this morning 12,000 pound bank robbery in Leicester. The man is in his early 30s, is slightly built and is about 5 feet 8 inches tall. He has blue eyes and a pale complexion and has shoulder length dark hair. He is well dressed, wears a gold ring and speaks with a London accent. Police believe he is still carrying the gun used in the robbery, and members of the public are warned not to approach him but instead to notify the police immediately. So it is a short description about a person who is involved in the bank robbery. Similarly, the question can be given in the examination. So, dear students, you have to practice this topic, this police description, or the description of any person and any type of people, like teacher, doctor, student, or your own friend, or any other people as well. So, before writing this, the major or the main things to be considered are about the person's face. We should write about the face of person. Similarly, general appearance. For the general appearance, we should use the words like looks, seems, etc. as we practiced earlier in the unit 2nd. And next topic is clothes. What types of clothes he or she is wearing, and next is anything else that would help people to recognize him or her. So that makes easier to recognize the person whom the police is investigating, or we are trying to find out. We are trying to recognize the person. So before start of writing, I ask the students, for example, how can we write about the police description? So before writing, if you want to write about any person, to describe about any person, you can start in this way. I provide one model. If you follow that model, then you can write it in your own way as well. Okay? Are you ready to write it? Okay, if you are ready, then please write it. I provide you very short clues to write it. Okay? Write a police description of the person you have chosen. The question has been given in the book, or any description can be given in the examination. So, okay, start writing. The man is in his early 30s. It is about his age, early 30s. He's about 4 feet 6 inches tall. 4 feet 6 inches tall. He has got long dark hair. Usko kapal, long and dark hair. HAIR. He has a brown complexion and a round face. Usko barna, ranga, brown complexion and round face. His nose is long and pointed. His eyes are black and slightly built. He has worn red t-shirt, black jeans, and has a bag. Full stop. He has short beard, B-E-A-R-D, beard, short beard. Full stop. There is a sign on his forehead. There is a sign on his forehead, and he speaks with Indian accent. Indian accent. Accent. Full stop. So in this way, dear students, I have explained the person in this description, the man's age, early 30s, his height, his hairstyle, his complexion, his face, nose, eyes, his clothes, his tone, accent, how does he speaks. So these are the things, these are the matters we should include while describing a person, so that helps to recognize by police, or we can easily recognize the person whom the police is investigating. So in this way you can write, or you can practice any other as well. For example, you can explain or you can describe your own friend as well. For example, your close friend, about your close friend, you can describe him or her, and you can practice on yourself. This much for this 2.7 police description. And now I go to the next topic, page number 22. In page number 22, there is previous events. The title of this topic, or the topic is previous events. In this point 3.2, basically it is example based question. In the examination, the question is asked providing any example. So without providing any example, we cannot write the answer of this question. So before writing this, so how can we write? Please listen it very carefully so that you can write, you can manage your answer. Okay, there is example as given in the example. Okay, look at the example in page number 22. Her husband was horrified when she came back from the hairdressers. Her husband was horrified when she came back from the hairdressers. When the wife comes from hairdressers, the husband gets horrified. श्रीमती चाहिँ हेयर ड्रेसर को बाट फर्किँदा श्रीमान चाहिँ अत्तालिए, डराए, अचम्म भए. So it is the question. In the examination, this A means it is in the dialogue format. A says what the question is. जस्तो क्वेशनमा जे छ त्यही कुरा ए ले भन्छ. तपाईले गाह्रै छैन, यो यति सजिलो छ. क्वेशन जे दिएको छ त्यसैलाई ए मा सार्नुस्, कपी गर्नुस्. फर एक्जाम्पल, her husband was horrified when she came back from the hairdressers भन्ने छ, त्यसैलाई कपी गर्नुस्, केही गर्नु पर्दैन. जस्तो फर एक्जाम्पल क्वेशन नम्बर 1 को when I saw him 2 years later I could hardly recognize him भन्नेलाई ए को ठाउँमा कपी गर्नुस्, केही गर्नु नै पर्दैन तपाईले. Then come to B. B मा आउनुस्. यसमा जस्ट राइट why. एमा पनि केही नगर्नु, why भन्ने छ त्यहाँ, क्वेशन मार्क गर्नुस्. एन्ड if possible use the first sentence what had happened. तपाई त्यही लेख्नुस्, अरु केही लेख्नु पनि पर्दैन, सजिलोको लागि नबिगार्नुस्. what they happened, what had they done यस्तो गर्न थाल्नु भयो भने त्यहाँ केही बिग्रिन सक्छ. ग्रामेटिकल्ली तपाईको चाहिँ स्ट्रक्चर बिग्रिन सक्छ. त्यो हुँदा सजिलोको लागि कमन what had happened is common. So why, what had happened लेख्नु सबैमा. मैले फेरि रिपिट गर्छु. A मा just copy the question. In number B, why, what had happened in all the questions up to 1 to 8. 1 देखि 8 सम्मको क्वेशनमा 1 to 8 सम्म सबै त्यही लेख्नुस्. र नाउ योर टर्न. अब तपाईको पालो यहाँनेर आउँछ. तपाईले यहाँ एउटा रिजन दिनुपर्छ. र रिजन छ her husband was horrified when she came back from the hairdressers. If it is the case, what had happened? किन श्रीमान डराए त भनेर क्वेशन what had happened के भएको थियो अथवा के होला भनेर यहाँ सोधिएको छ. So the answer, the reason is, well, they had cut her hair really short and they had dyed it a kind of purple color. The reason is they had, the people in the hairdressers, they cut her hair really short and they had dyed it a kind of purple color. There are two reasons: cut hair really short and dyed it a kind of purple color. If you are able, you can give in this way. If you are not able, please write only one reason, give one reason. Now come to the question first. Question number first. So in question number first, how we write it? The question is, when I saw him 2 years later, I could hardly recognize him. When I saw him 2 years later, I could hardly recognize him. As I mentioned earlier, you can copy the same question. In A says, when I saw him 2 years later, I could hardly recognize him. And B's turn, Why? What had happened? And again, A replies, well. What had happened? Well, he had a long hair. Again, he had long hair and he had worn glasses. Again, he had long hair and he had worn glasses. Or you can give other reason as well. This is not specific or that specified answer. So if you are able, then you can write, you can give other reasons as well. So when I saw him 2 years later, I could hardly recognize him. So he has some of the changes. Why I cannot recognize him when I saw him? Because he has some of the changes, so I could not recognize, or I could hardly recognize him. In this way, you can give your own reasons as well. Not only hair, clothes. He had become very fat, tall, or he had used different types of clothes, means he had worn different clothes. He had been in formal dress. So different reasons could be given. But the main thing here is that students should remember one structure. The structure is subject plus had plus V3. You have to use past perfect tense. Let's say past tense, better to use past perfect tense. Had plus V3. It should be there. We should use past perfect tense to complete this exercise 3.2. Okay. Without any delay, we come to the question number 2. In question number 2, they sent both men to prison for 20 years. Can you guess the answer of this question? Okay, if you can write. Very easily you can do it. As I said, A says they sent both men to prison for 20 years. B, why? What had happened? It is common. A and B, there is no difficulty in A and B. Without any doubt, you just copy the answer, copy the question. They sent both men to the prison for 20 years. Why? What had happened? They are common, very common word sentences. And final, the reason is in A replies to B. Well, they sent both men to prison for 20 years. Why they sent both men to prison for 20 years? The reason is that they had, so had should be there because it should be written in past perfect tense. They had murdered an old man, full stop. Or if you can add other reasons as well. They had stolen, they had robbed, they had participated in the bank robbery, or they had robbed the bank, they had stolen the money, they had murdered the people, old man. In this way you can write. So you can write, you can give any reasons. So question number 3 now. The fireman received a medal for bravery. The fireman received a medal for bravery. A says, a fireman received a medal for bravery. B. Why? What had happened? And again A replies the question of B. Well, fireman means he had, if you are writing, please write it. He had saved the life of people from fire. Or he had put out the fire from the building. Put out means आगो निभाउन सक्यो. He had saved the life of people and had saved the property of people. Okay. Question number 4. It was a good thing I checked my bill before I paid it. Come to the answer only. अब एन्सर मात्रै म बताउँछु सरसर्ती. 4 नम्बरको एन्सर हेर्नुस्. ए र बी को कुरा भइसक्यो. लास्ट ए मा के हुन्छ? It was good thing I checked my bill before I paid it. Well, when I had bought some goods, the shopkeepers had added maximum amount to the bill. Maximum amount to the bill. यसरी गर्नुस्. Number 5. When my sisters came home, she was crying her eyes out. यसलाई answer मात्र हेर्नुस्. Well, they had taken away. Well, they had taken away her chocolate or her books, and they had scolded her badly. They had scolded her badly. Number 6. I got a very angry letter from my bank manager last Monday. The answer is he had informed me to arrive in time, and I had not followed his order. I had not followed his order. Question number 7. Can you write question number 7 and 8? As I provided the instruction you, so you can complete the question number 7 and 8. So better to practice yourself, please. Question number 7. My new trousers were ruined when they come out of the washing machine. When the new trousers came from the washing machine, then they were ruined. And question number 8. They came back from their holiday feeling completely refreshed. So after holiday, after they completed their holiday, they became very refreshed. So you can complete, you can write, you can practice it. So you have to try as far as possible. So in 3.2 we learned use of had plus V3, past perfect tense, and similarly you can come to 3.3. but there is use of past perfect tense again, and only very short reason is given there. The reason is in page number 23, previous activities should be given. So if you look this exercise, this practice, Sally was desperate. Sally was desperate. She was desperate means उनी निराश छन्. निराश हुनु पछाडिको कारण दिने हो हामीले. किन चाहिँ उनी निराश छन् भन्ने कारण छ यहाँ. कारण दिनुस्. She had been drifting on the sea for 5 days. She had used up all her water. She had been trying to contact other boats on her radio, but nobody had replied to her SOS. So these are the ways of explaining, giving activities, previous actions. Similarly, you can practice the questions. Eventually, Richard found a job that suited him. Eventually, lastly, Richard got a job. He found a job that suited, appropriate to him. उसलाई मिल्दो जागिर उसले पायो भन्ने छ. Eventually, Richard found a job that suited him. उसलाई उचित हुने राम्रो खालको जागिर मिल्यो. So how can we write it? You have to use past tense, past perfect or past perfect continuous as well. Had plus V3 or had been plus V4. Okay, we try for the first question. How can we give the answer reason? So only one answer is given in the examination. In the practice, in the example, there are 3-4 reasons, but we need only one. Eventually, Richard found a job that suited him. It means he had done temporary jobs before. Temporary jobs before. So he had done temporary jobs before, but now he has become permanent. So eventually Richard found a job that suited him. Similarly, we can give other examples as well. He found a job in Nepal government. So he became permanent. He got the job of Nepalese government. Similarly, he got the success in the interview so that he got the appropriate job. He passed, means he had passed in an interview of officer. Okay. Number 2, when the Johnsons eventually got away on holiday, they felt they really deserved it. Johnsons means it is family. Johnson's family. So when Johnsons eventually got away on holiday, they felt they really deserved it. They enjoyed it. It means they had been visiting Lumbini. Beautiful places, holy places, or tourist places. They had been visiting Pokhara, Lumbini, Janakpur, Muktinath, or any historical places you can write. Next, number 3. By the time the climbers reached the top of the mountains, they were exhausted. So by the time the climbers reached the top of the mountains, they were exhausted. उनीहरू अति थकित थिए. So किन उनीहरू चाहिँ थकित थिए? The reason is that They had been trekking for 10 days. They had been traveling without proper management, or any other reason can be added. Okay, number 4. It was hardly surprising that Anthony fainted. Anthony fainted. So he had been working hard for his future life, or nobody had helped him. Nobody had helped him when he was weak, when he was ill. And last, Bhavine sighed with relief. Bhavine sighed with relief. Bhavine she had been running. She had been moving or running from a fox. From a fox. She had not taken any rest. She had not taken any rest. Okay. These are the major things here. And now we come to the very important topic, that is relative clause. Use of relative clause in page number 25. It is very important topic. In examination the question is asked, but the main thing here is that students, please, if you have book, then look at page number 25. Page number 25, 3.5. Additional information with relative clause. This relative clause, before talking or before using relative clause, we should know what are the relative clause. The relative clause that relates the two different clauses. It helps to join the two clauses together and it makes a complete sentence. So, what are the relative clause then? They are who, whom, whose, which, how, whom, where, when, that. They come under relative clause. So how we use such type of relative clause? So who, whom, whose, they are used for person, which for the objects, that can be used for the person or the things as well. What for the things, where for place, when for time, how for manner. So such type of words are used to relate the two different clauses. Okay, look at the questions first. In example, Phil was driving. Phil was driving. Phil kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. So there are two sentences. Phil was driving and Phil kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. So we have to combine, we have to link, we have to relate the two sentences using relative clause. So how can we write it? The example has been given. Phil was driving. It is one sentence. And another is Phil kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. So first of all write Phil, then comma, to Phil and Phil, they are common. So Phil is person, it is subject. So that for the subject we use who. For the object we use whom. For the possessive cases we use whose. Who, whom, whose. They are relative clause. When they relate the two sentences, they link the two sentences or more than two sentences. When it comes at the first of the sentence, then it is called as question. So, who, whom, whose. It is the clarification about who, whom, whose. Okay, the answer is Phil, comma, who was driving, comma, kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. Or the same question can be written or can be done in a different way. Phil kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator who was driving. So in this way we can write it. Phil was driving who kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator as well. Phil was driving who kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. But easiest way is Phil was driving, Phil, comma, who was driving, comma, kept his foot pressed hard down on the accelerator. And you can put other sentences well, putting comma, accelerator, then he was very hungry, he was very curious, he was unknown about the destination. So you can add other clauses as well, putting comma. Now question number 1. In question number 1, Phil was an excellent driver. Phil's forehead was covered in sweat. So how we write? Phil was an excellent driver. So write it, please. Phil, comma, whose forehead was covered in sweat. Why we use whose? Because there is Phil's. त्यहाँ Phil's देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ, त्यही भएर whose गरियो. Phil, comma, whose forehead was covered in sweat, comma गर्नुस् र माथिको was an excellent driver भनेर लेखिदिनुस्. Phil लाई हटाइदिए भयो. किन भन्दा Phil त हामी अगाडि नै लेखिसक्यौं. Phil भन्ने अगाडि आइसकेको छ. So no need to repeat the same word time and again. Don't repeat the same word again and again. Phil, comma, whose forehead was covered in sweat, comma, was an excellent driver. Question number 2. Julia had not wanted to come in the first place. The admiral had entrusted the papers to Julia. Julia, to whom the admiral had entrusted the papers, had not wanted to come in the first place. So if you are writing, please, I repeat it again. Julia, comma, to whom the admiral had entrusted the papers, had not wanted to come in the first place. So in the book, there are some of the questions at the top of 3.5. We can link them as well, but the better, the easiest way is that you have to link, you have to relate only two sentences. In the examination, no more than two sentences, two clauses are given. So only two sentences or two incomplete clauses are given to the students. So you have to relate them. So don't go, if you go through 3 or 4 sentences as given in the book, you may come to the problem. You cannot cope with such problem. So please just practice only 2 sentences and relate them. Use the relative clause to link the sentences. Okay, number 3. Alex had closed his eyes. It had been Alex's idea to come. The success of the whole mission depended on Alex. There are 3 sentences. So, Alex is man. So, Alex, comma, on whom. So, in question number last sentence, on Alex, there is on Alex. On Alex देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ. त्यही भएर Alex भनेपछि त्यसैले on Alex भन्नुभयो भने सजिलो. Alex, comma, on whom means on Alex. Alex, comma, on whom the success of the whole mission depended, comma, had closed his eyes, which had been his idea to come. Question number 4. Alex had just taken the gun out of his pocket. Alex never went anywhere without his without his guns. Alex, comma, who never went anywhere without his gun, had just taken it out of his pocket. Again, please. Alex, comma, who never went anywhere without his gun, comma, had just taken it out of his pocket. Number 5. The dog was sitting facing the back window. The dog loved traveling in fast cars. The answer is the dog, comma, which loved traveling in fast cars, comma, was sitting facing the back window. Again, was sitting facing the back window. And the last question is, the truck was gaining on them all the time. They were trying so desperately to escape from the truck. A light machine gun was clearly visible on the truck. Okay, join them, link them using relative clause. The truck, comma, from which they were trying to desperately to escape, comma, was gaining on them all the time, on which a light machine gun was clearly visible. So this is the way of writing, joining the clauses. You can do it, you can practice other sentences as well using relative clause. Okay, what you are feeling, please reply. Your experience, your expectations to us, and I close today's class here. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
कक्षा 11 र 12 को परीक्षा तयारी गरिरहेका भाइ बहिनीहरू, तपाईलाई ट्युसन अन एयर को आजको अंक कस्तो लाग्यो? सहयोगी संस्था तानसेन नगरपालिका ट्युसन अन एयर कार्यक्रमको परामर्शदाता भगवती टोल तानसेनमा रहेको इभरग्रीन एजुकेसन सेन्टर EEC का सञ्चालक पुण्य सुवेदी लगायत अध्यापनको क्रममा खट्नुहुने सम्पूर्ण आदरणीय गुरुवर्गहरूमा सादर नमन गर्दछौं। भाइ बहिनीहरू, हामीलाई पत्राचार गर्न चाहनुभयो भने हामीलाई पत्राचार गर्ने ठेगाना टिप्नुहोस्। हाम्रो ठेगाना हो दूर शिक्षा कार्यक्रम ट्युसन अन एयर, युनिक FM 94.2 मेगाहर्ज तानसेन 5 कैलाशनगर र हाम्रो इमेल आइडी पनि नोट गर्नुहोस् news.uniquefm@gmail.com। भाइ बहिनीहरू, ट्युसन अन एयर कार्यक्रम हाम्रो एफएम को आधिकारिक वेबसाइट www.uniquefmpalpa.com बाट पनि तपाईहरूले हेर्न र सुन्न सक्नुहुनेछ।
ट्युसन अन एयर
Compulsory English book, and this book is for science students, commerce students, management students.
दूरशिक्षा रेडियो कार्यक्रम ट्युसन अन एयर मनको आवाज युनिक एफएम 94.2 मेगाहर्ज र तानसेन नगरपालिकाको सहकार्यमा
कोरोना संक्रमण रोकथामका लागि जारी लकडाउनको अवस्थालाई मध्यनजर गरी उत्पादन गरिएको दूरशिक्षा रेडियो कार्यक्रम ट्युसन अन एयर।